So, yes, for those people who are thinking that I'm either a girl who makes cartoons, that's a yes. But there's many things that I do that are not cartoons per se. And I want to say that Patch was an idea. And I just want you to know that he wasn't really my character to begin with. He was my character, but there was an inspiration from Disney as well. But it's like putting two halves of a character into another character. So the reason why I got the idea for Patch was because I thought of what would my life be like if I actually had kids. And I thought, well, okay, I would have a daughter and I would have a son or two sons in Dipstick's case because I am a twin, but my twin died, and I feel like that's kind of bad, but still, sometimes bad things happen, and the other child doesn't have enough oxygen to survive, and it just doesn't make sense. So, what you want to say is more what you don't want to say. And really, my sister didn't really have kids in the beginning, so I had to think, well, what if she does have kids later on? And I thought, well, okay, that is going to happen. And that's where I came up with Zach and Violet. And Wyatt, too, but I thought of Wyatt ahead of time, and I don't really think that Wyatt was actually going to be one of Amy's kids. Maybe he was either meant to be someone else's kid or an adoption that they took up. I don't know. I didn't really think of Titan and Wisp. They were just characters that I took on because I adopted them from someone else. They didn't want them anymore, and that's what I decided to do. Same thing with Cody, and basically, well, not really the same thing with Savage, because I kind of co-owned him, and I kind of co-owned Stitch, at least for a while. But let's really not get into that, okay? There are some things that I don't understand. It's just. You might say I'm not who you think I might be. Well, okay, if you were expecting a boy, then I don't know what you were thinking because I'm not a boy. I may have boy characters, but I'm not a boy. And I do have girl characters, but mostly girl characters are either representative of my sister, like Penny, or a representative of myself, like Sarah. But most people think Sarah's crazy. I would say I'm crazy, but I'm crazy in, like, a sick kind of way. Not like I'm crazy in, like, some rude behavior kind of way. I mean, that's true. I did have rude behaviors before, but I was sick. I had a reason for it. Um, Now, really, this was kind of overdue. I was gonna do it earlier, but this year, there are some years that didn't really work for me. And if you wanted to do a face reveal, you could really do it, but it didn't really work for 2017 or 18 or even 2016 because when you say what you want to say, you can probably look at my dad's YouTube account and find me that way because sometimes did I sometimes did songs for my dad for my nephew and niece. In the beginning I did. Not as of right now because we haven't done many songs. There are some songs that I don't know, we just haven't gotten around to doing. But I think that it would be fun if we experimented a little and tried doing like certain songs that we would agree with and that they would intentionally like. Like, I don't know, Dinosaur Chomp, that was kind of fun. Little Rabbit Foo Foo, that was fun. Sometimes what you think is fun can really get into you. One song that I would really like to do for them in the near future is Skinamarink because I know they'll like it. And I liked it as a kid, so maybe they'll like it. It's just, there are some things that I don't really like. So it's hard to tell. And there's a clue in what I like and what I don't like. For example, I like Pokemon, but I really don't like Yu-Gi-Oh! And the reason why is because I would get really weird when I watched it. So let's just not put that into context. Because I got weird. So, yeah, I got weird watching our cartoon. Well, an anime. But I got weird during it. So, yeah. And there are many animes that I did not get weird during by. Pokemon, Glitter Force, Glitter Force Doki Doki. Even though that really was like just another Glitter Force, it was good in my opinion. And I'm looking forward to Happiness Charge if it does happen. But only if it does happen. I'm expecting Glitter Force Happiness Charge to happen. I don't know if it's going to. But we'll see. Because what you look for in the future is really special to you. And I just don't want to be happy for what you want to say. I mean, yes, I am a real person. We're all human in this respect. Some of us don't see who they are in the beginning. I'll admit, I didn't really see who I was in the beginning because I started this account when I was really young. I started this account in like 2007. So I was still in college, kind of. And lately, I've been taking a break from that. And I didn't want to say that I was a college dropout because I really wasn't. I just kind of left. And I really don't know why I kind of left. But I just did. So therefore, I'm someone who doesn't really have a degree or a license or anything for that matter. I'm just someone who is special. Now, I did other things. I did art class and I did horseback riding. Well, if you want to just call it riding, that's fine. It was riding. It was riding. And I liked riding for a while at least. And I did it a lot. It wasn't just high school either. I did it in middle school too. But it was only for like 1 year. I did it in like 7th grade and then did one in 8th. But it didn't really work out well. And then I decided to do it in 9th. But so basically I started to do horse riding at Mainstay in 2002. And I started to do it in Woodwind before that. So yes, I had lessons before that. But it was different. So what you want to say is, yeah, she did riding before, but it was different. And yes, I did give up riding after 2018. But that was because, well, I didn't really want to continue riding because I thought, well, I need more time to free up my schedule. So I thought, I think I'll take a year off. And most people will say, well, I don't know if that's such a good idea, but I feel like it is. Because there are some things that you can't do anymore. And I feel like I can't ride anymore. And yes, my mom did ride in the beginning, but she doesn't anymore. And my sister was afraid of horses for some reason. It just didn't work with her. So, and there were some shows that we watched when we were really little, like Full House, Growing Pains, that stuff. And now we're watching Fuller House, but still, it's Fuller House. I would expect it to continue. But seeing it only continue into like a 5th season and then that's it is kind of like weird. I wouldn't say that we're missing a lot of things, but I would say we're missing a possible sequel. Maybe. Like maybe there would be a sequel where, I don't know, Jackson has kids? Possibly. It could happen. I don't know, but it could happen. Maybe. I don't want to say goodbye to the Fullers forever, but I still want something. And if Netflix doesn't do it, somebody's got to do it. Eventually. And with Disney putting up their own streaming service eventually, it might as well just be, I don't know, different. You might want to think about that, Disney. Sure, doing your own movies and having your own streaming service is fine. But why fall 2019? Because when you think about it, they really should have done it a long time ago. But they didn't. So, really, what you're thinking doesn't always come to mind. And yes, I am a cartoonist. Kind of. But I'm not someone who would say that they're different than most cartoonists. And that's a good thing. Because there are some things that I'm crazy about. But I'm not crazy about it because it's a good thing. I'm crazy about it because it's a game, or I'm crazy about it because, I like it. And that was my thing for a while. I liked things. I liked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was younger and now. But when I was younger, it really wasn't a phase because I feel like I grew up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I was a fan of it when I was really, really young. I'm not really sure when it was that I really got to love it. Because I'm not sure when I clicked in. I know it started a lot earlier than 88 or 89 or whenever I started watching. But I feel like some people's childhood get away from them. And there were other things that I was a fan of too. Finecon, the Magic School Bus, that sort of thing. There were some kind of things that I was a fan of as well. And yes, they did have cartoons for that as well. But there were some things that I wasn't really a fan of. I wasn't really a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I wasn't really a fan of Dinosaur King either. That also made me weird. And some shows, they weren't really okay for me. I felt like they were bad or they were okay. Dancing with the Stars, that was okay for a while. Survivor, that was okay for a while too, but Survivor's been around since the year 2000, so I can see why I've been a fan of it forever. And I've basically seen every single Survivor season, including the beginning of season 38. Now, really, I'm not so sure what's happening right now. And I feel like something may happen to me in the future that doesn't involve something bad. Like, for example, my mom breaking her kneecap. Last year. That was painful. For example, you don't really expect to break a kneecap when you're falling in the house and you don't really know why. So yeah, she fell and hit her knee, basically. And that's what caused the break. And it hasn't been right since, so we don't really know why that's happened, but yeah, that happened. And many people think, well, Sarah, another thing that happened, you gave up taking thyroid pills. Well, I didn't really give up taking them. My thyroid was better already, and I was already taking too much thyroid as it was. And I didn't want to take too much thyroid, so I decided to cut down on thyroid pills by either like taking one at in the morning only, and then so I would not take one in the afternoon, and then I would not take one in the morning afterward. So that means that my thyroid was better than I thought it was. And yes, I did do essential oils, and I still do, but it's just that I'm not crazy. And, well, I am, but not in a bad kind of way. So don't think that, oh, she's crazy. Well, yes, I am crazy, but not in like a rude behavior kind of way. Like a sick kind of acting way. So when that happens, it's like I'm just not feeling well. I probably shouldn't go to school, or I shouldn't. Well, at that point, it was like I shouldn't go to school. But I'm past that now. So, yes, there was some time when I went to art class, and I felt like there was something felt that I really felt well to go to art class, or not to go to art class, because sometimes I didn't go. And I felt that I liked it for a while because it was nice. I got to talk to a lot of people, and it was just like an adult class. Now, I had taken art class when I was younger because when I was really little, like 8 or so probably, I could only draw stick figures. And when I was 2 or 3, I could probably only draw like scribbles. And that just wasn't right, in my opinion. So I would say my niece is to that scribble stage, but she's not to that stick figure phase. Um, I don't really know if I drew on the walls. Clearly, Violet was into that because of Rapunzel, but I don't really know if I was into a character phase where I would act like Rapunzel. Because I liked the character, but I didn't like her that much. And to be honest, some characters, well, they either didn't click with me or they clicked with me, but they clicked with me in such a way that they made me weird and I didn't like them. So, yeah, that's that. And Sonic, I really like him, but for a mascot character, he's good. Nintendo actually has good mascot characters too, so don't be mad if you're like really into Mario or really into Sonic. But I was really into both. And to be honest, I'm not unhappy with Sega. I'm just kind of disappointed that they got off the console market after the Dreamcast. Because, yeah, they did give up on that part. So, yeah, they just decided to release games for other systems at that point. We don't really know why that happened, but it happened. Because they used to have their own councils, they don't anymore. Some people were saying, oh, they might jump back into the console wars. I highly doubt that Sega is ever going to do that. Because they just had a weird way of advertising their consoles. So, yeah. I wouldn't say that I'm weird because of my mom or because of my dad. I'm weird because I watched some show that made me weird. I don't really know why it made me weird, but I just had a weird reaction to the show. It wasn't a good show for me. Now, I did watch a few episodes of The Simpsons, but I wasn't really a big Simpsons fan. Okay? So some people will say, well, Sarah, either you're supposed to be a fan of that or you're not supposed to be a fan of that. And to me, the Ninja Turtles felt like that. They felt like either you are a fan of it or you hate it. And if you hate it, then what are you doing watching it? Because it really doesn't make sense. And yes, you can hate something, but it's more like you hate a show because it makes you act weird. I hated Yu-Gi-Oh! For a while because I just didn't agree with it. Now, true, it was just people playing like dual card games, but I just didn't really understand. Now, there are other shows that are kind of like that I kind of like too later on. And Bakugan was one of them. Yes, they did have a toy line, and yes, I never really agreed to that part of it, but I agreed to watch the show and play some of the games at least. But not everything gets their own video game. And you have to understand that. Sometimes things don't get their own video game, and you wonder why that happens. It's just, I'm not sure what happens to people who make sure that they think what you're doing is good. And to me, Pokemon and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles felt like that. They felt really good shows for me to watch. And for a while they were. And sometimes there are more episodes of something, like in Japan, mostly. Like there were more episodes of Glitter Force, but they call it Pretty Cure, I guess. And there are more episodes of Glitter Force Tokyo in Japan, but Japan only, probably, because there were some that they didn't put in the English dub. I don't know why they did it, but they didn't put them in. And for me, it's like, why do that? And it's not like they would do it later on. I just think they're not going to be able to adapt that episode. And maybe I'm right, but they probably didn't skip very many Glitter Force episodes. And they probably didn't skip very many Glitter Force. Well, they probably skipped a lot more Glitter Force Doki Doki episodes than they did. Yeah, they probably did skip more episodes in the Doki Doki Pretty Cure than they did in the English dub, because they only probably dubbed 30 episodes and that was it. And yes, they only dubbed 20 episodes of Glitter Force, but they could have dubbed more as well. But they just didn't do it. So yeah, that's basically it. There were more episodes. Just they didn't dub them. And it's not the only series that doesn't dub episodes. Pokemon can sometimes run into a banned episode as well. But it's mostly because a blackface, or guns, or some other thing. And that's why they won't do it. Okay? Or they won't do it because it will give people in Japan seizures or something. So yeah. That was one reason too. So don't be mad if something isn't dubbed, because it was probably only done in Japan, because the other parts of the world could not get that episode. Either until much later, and yes, that happens sometimes. They don't get it until much later, which does happen, or they get it, but they don't get it at the same time that you get it. So it was released in Japan first, and then dubbed afterward, probably. So many people are probably waiting for season 22 over here in the US, whereas many people in other places, like maybe Canada, have probably already started it already. And that's fine, but I want to watch it myself. And yes, I am Canadian. Many people would say, "Oh, you're not Canadian. You're American." No. I'm Canadian. I really am from Canada. I moved here when I was really young, 8 probably. And I moved here because of my dad's job, not because of some other thing. It was basically because he got transferred. And we weren't really sure where we were going to live. We weren't sure if we were going to live in the US or in another province of Canada. And we just weren't really sure. And when you're not sure of something, it just doesn't come into contact with you. And I thought that moving to Illinois would be nice, because I would get a better teacher for 3rd grade, because the teacher that I had in 3rd grade for Canada, she was terrible. She was mean. She didn't really teach me anything. And I hope that she was either fired or she died or what whatever happened, happened. So let's just leave that alone. The teacher that I found in the United States, that she was nice. And I was originally going to try fourth, but I thought, maybe that's just not for me. So yeah, basically, I think my first day of third grade was not the same time as everyone else. I just think it was when I thought, well, I won't really be in fourth grade until the fall. So I thought, mm, I'll just do something earlier. I'll do third again. Because I may have tried it in Canada, but it didn't work out. It was, I had terrible teacher. Um, I don't really know why, but she was terrible. And that was just the whole point. And yeah, my sister was the same way. She had a terrible teacher too, but I don't think it was in third grade. I think it was sometime earlier, and I'm not really sure who it was. It was probably a different mean teacher as well. And I don't really think my nephew has had any mean teachers at all. I don't think he has. And I'm not really sure about my niece either because she probably just started a little bit recently. And I just want to know what she thinks. Now, to be honest, I'm going to assume that she's doing well in school, but it's hard to know because it's probably only been like her first few days, and that's fine for someone who probably hasn't been to school yet beforehand, but it's fine. Maybe you were going to put her into a class, but you didn't know what class you were going to put her in because, I don't know, maybe she wasn't ready or like some other thing. Because maybe she had a theory. I don't know, but yeah, her brother isn't a good role model for her. Um, we don't really know why, but her brother isn't a good role model. He's just not. Um, Maybe her parents are, but her brother is not. And my sister is now to the point where she thinks that my mom and my dad are bad. No, I wouldn't say that. You're thinking about this the wrong way. And I want you to see that later on. Please tell me you're going to see that later on. And you're just going to agree with me eventually. Please. I don't want to be bad or like create anything bad. I'm just I'm just kind of lucky that you didn't call me bad. Thank goodness. Because I don't want to be bad. I want to be good. And I feel like I am good. So please, just don't tell someone else they're bad anymore. Please don't tell them that because it'll ruin them. I don't know why you're saying that. I really don't. So please don't. It doesn't make sense. And yes, I do call her that. It was a nickname that I had for her when I was really young. But to be honest, she's Amy. When you think of someone who you know really well, either it's a member of your family or it's a friend. Sometimes it can be both. But most of the time, it's a friend. Sometimes it can be a family member. And sometimes it can't be. And no, I'm not in a relationship or anything. But my characters are. And that's fine. And just so you think that you want to be who you are and you just know who you are because that's who you are. And yes, I will say I am left-handed, but I don't really know when I found out I was left-handed because I was switching off when I was really young. So, yeah, I was ambidextrous for a little bit. I'm still ambidextrous in some things, like typing. I did art ambidextrous in the beginning. I still kind of do it ambidextrous, but I don't really do it as much as I did before. And I don't really write ambidextrous. There are some things that my sister did that I don't do. Like, I'm not really into remodeling. Now my parents are, but I'm not into it. And sure, my sister does it, but it's not probably the best thing that she could come up with. So yes, I'm thinking, yeah, we should really do it. I'm thinking, yeah, we should bring you should bring something. And yes, I am kind of exploring new systems right now because I did not expect to get a game system near the end of 2018. I was like thinking, well, okay, either they're gonna end up getting me a Switch or they're not gonna end up getting me a Switch. And I thought, well, okay. So you're either gonna end up with one or you're gonna end up without one. And I ended up with one. So that's good. That I ended up with one. I like systems. I like game systems. I really do. And for a while, handheld systems were the norm for me because when I was really young, like in high school, I had a Game Boy Pocket. And a Game Gear, but they eventually crashed. And I gave up on handhelds after that point. But I eventually did get something else. I eventually did get a DS. And then After that, I got 3DS. And then that was basically it. I did not get anything else. I did not get a Game Boy Advance. I really didn't. For whatever reason, I just skipped it. I don't know why, but I skipped it. Don't be mad. It's just it. Some people did, but I did not. Okay, so I did not. Um, it just wasn't something that I got. And no, I did not get a GameCube. I got a Wii. Um, when I was 30, but I did not get a GameCube. And I did not get a Wii U. I just thought, well, okay, this is a really weird console. I'm not getting it. And that's what they thought. It was a really weird console. Some people didn't even think it was a console. Some people just thought it was an add-on for the Wii, which it really wasn't. I don't know why people thought that. Now, it's true some of the games for the Switch are ports, but to be honest, okay, I really will think that some things are good, but what you want to say is not really what happens sometimes. And that's fine. To be honest, I came up with this channel in 2007. And before I had this channel, I had another channel, but I didn't really like that channel, and I thought it was terrible, so I closed it down. And no, I'm not going to close this one down. Now, you may think, okay, then why have you, put new channels in? That's just backups in case this one, closes down for some reason. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but please don't do anything stupid. And no, I'm not crazy. I'm just different. And yes, I do have autism. But it's not really Asperger's, it's just autism. So yeah, I don't have that version of autism. I just have autism. So yeah. And it's not like I have any other disorder. I probably did have another disorder, but it was so rare that they didn't really have a name for it. So I don't really know what happened there. They just didn't really have a name for it. So I'm not really sure what to call it. It was just some autoimmune thing. I don't really know what it was exactly. Maybe it was lupus, but who knows? I can't tell. And they thought my nephew had it too, but I don't know what he has, so therefore I can't tell you. Maybe he just has ADHD or some other thing. I'm not sure. But yeah. We'll find out. Eventually, we'll find out. And I just want to think, oh, well, Maybe. But I'm just not sure what's going to happen. And some people don't really talk until later in their life. Or they do talk, but they talk really early in life and they just give up on the skill. I think that's what basically happened to Luke. But I'm not sure if that's really what happened or if that happened, but he's going to relearn it. I think he will talk again. And we've seen some things with him. It's just not full talking yet. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not disappointed or anything. I just like something that other people don't like. So, yeah, I would say either you're going too easy on someone else or you're not going too easy on them. But I would say that Zach really does represent Luke. So I want him to think maybe he'll like Zach and understand Zach, that he'll actually be Zach later on. Not that he is Zach. And he's not Wyatt, because I know that he's not Wyatt, because Wyatt was just someone I created because I wasn't sure if they were going to have anybody else. So Wyatt was just someone I had created because I thought, well, okay, this is just going to be like an alternative route for them. Like if they don't actually have kids by their own blood, they might have a kid that they adopted or something. And yes, that did happen for someone that they knew. Because there was someone who adopted a kid. And her name was Lynn. She did adopt a kid. And that kid's name was Anya. And for a while, she was a good friend to us. And I just don't want to say that it was bad. And there were many things that we grew up on that we didn't like or we did like, but we liked them only for a little bit. Like, when I was really little, I did like SpongeBob, but then later on, I gave up on it. I don't know why, but I gave up on it. And now I'm not happy for what I did because I gave up on the cartoon, but I gave up on it because I didn't want to think that people were crazy. I mean, I know it's true. Some people are, but I'm not crazy. And yes, I will sing, but it's mostly only with my dad and only with church choirs. I won't sing with anybody else because I'm not good with everybody else. at all. I'm terrible. And yes, I am learning to play guitar, but please, I'm not really into um as many chords as my dad is. He's really more advanced than I am, and he's probably still learning. But I just want to know when I will get onto his level. And no, I'm not crazy. I just want to think that, yeah, I'm different. But to be honest, I'm not crazy. And whoever is, isn't me. And I just don't want to be the person who's crazy. And yes, some people do have something. Like, they either have an eating disorder or they have some other thing. Now, I'm not like them, but I like some things, and then there are some things I don't like. Okay? So, yeah, that's basically it. I'm a good person. And yeah, I'm living in the United States. It's not like I moved here because of chance, it's because of my dad's job. Um, and eventually, whenever he retires, we'll see what happens. Now, we don't really know when he's going to retire, for now at least. But we'll find out eventually. Okay? So, yeah, that's basically it. I thought, well, I gotta take at least maybe a year off. And that's what's going on with me. I'm taking a year off of writing. So, don't be mad. I just can't do it anymore. And that's fine. I loved it at the time. It was good at the time. But there are things I need to do that I have done before, but I need to figure out what I'm doing in 2019 and in 2020 and beyond that, even. So don't be mad. It's just there are some things that I won't do. And I don't even know how long I'm actually going to live. So let's just not get into it, okay? Either I'm going to die when I'm 113 or I'm going to die when I'm like 99. I don't know really. But when I was really young, I thought I was going to die when I was like 119. But really, I don't know when that's going to happen. Um, and I thought that whoever I was going to get married to would live till like the year 3000 or something. I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me, but maybe some people just don't have something. Why? I don't know. And yes, I will come up with other characters, but I'm not going to come up with them now. Because I want to think that, okay, there are some people, but some people, they either don't understand you or you don't understand them. Now, don't get me wrong, there might be some things that you don't understand or some behavior that you maybe created, but you didn't really know why you created it. So, maybe mom's right. Maybe I did create that behavior. But I don't know why I created that behavior. And I can't take martial arts. I really can't, because mom thinks that I'm going to beat people up. And really, I'm not going to think that. And no, I didn't create this behavior in a fight. I think it happened because I was watching a show, and that show wasn't for me. And yes, I did watch some shows with my nephew and my niece, but that was because of my niece and my nephew. It wasn't because of me. I watched it for them. I did not watch it for me. Okay? And there are some things that I watch just because I like it. Like Glitter Force. Or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Or Pokemon. But to be honest, there are some things that I didn't really like in the beginning. And yes, I am a big Disney fan. My favorite movies are actually The Lion King, Robin Hood, when I was really young, and also when I was really young, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Now, don't be mad as to why I really like that one, but I really liked it because of Pooh and Tigger. They felt like nice characters for me, and they really were, at least for a while. And yes, some of them were toys, but not everyone was, probably. And that's what you think happened in your life. And when your life happened, you just don't understand what happened to something else. I mean, YouTube may be part of your life, and Facebook may be part of your life too. It's just, I didn't start a Facebook account in 2007, and I didn't. So please don't be mad at me. So yeah, I did have something going on in my life in 2008. And it was basically special. It was my sister's wedding. And then later on, she had kids. Like 2011, she had her first kid. And then, like, maybe 2015, she had her second kid. So, yeah, that's basically it. You think that one thing will happen, and then another thing happens. So yeah, I originally thought that I was going to graduate college, but I didn't. So yeah, that's basically it. Don't be mad. Really. I'm a real person, just like everyone else. I'm just a little different than you thought I was. Okay? And yes, I am from Ontario. So, yeah, there's that. Um, so yes, I do have American relatives. Like in some of my cousins on my father's side. And that's fine. But yeah, that's fine. And they probably have kids too. At least some of them do. Not all of them, but some of them do. And no, I don't think that they're going to have like a high number of kids. They're probably only going to have like a low number of kids and then stop there. Maybe. At least I hope that's what happens. Okay? I hope that's what happens. And that's all I'm going to say. And yes, this year is treating me rather well. And I don't want anything to happen in the summer that is negative. Like, I don't want a flood, and I don't want anything that happened in 2017 and 2018 to happen in 2019. So I don't want anybody to like re-break something that they broke beforehand. So please don't do it. Really don't do it. And yes, some people do fall on the ice, but that isn't what caused my mom's injury. So yeah, I do ice skate sometimes. I just didn't want to be unhappy. And to be honest, I don't really know what's going on in my life sometimes. Now, don't ask me why that happens, but I am a real person, so don't think that I'm not a real person. Because I am a real person. Everyone in your life is a real person, except if they're not a real person. Okay? So, yeah, that's basically it. And to be honest, I had characters when I was really little, but they weren't characters that I created to like any extent that would be characters um, that got into contact later on with me. So that doesn't mean that Rex was an important character to me. I mean, yes, he was a character to me, but he wasn't really a real dog. I thought he was, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just a stuffed animal. And same thing with Jack and maybe Blaze also. I didn't really think that they were people. They were just people I made up when I was really young. Like maybe 3 or 4. Not 8 because I think that's too old to have an imaginary friend. Um so yeah, basically that's that's what I thought. Um so yeah, that's basically it. Now, if you want to say that okay, I'm unhappy that well, yes, I'm happy that 2018 is over. But 2019, you've actually got a really good start. And I feel like you're going to have a really good ending as well. So I won't be mad. But whenever they do start Star Wars movies up again, I'll be happy. So I'm not mad or anything, but I hope that whatever episode 9 is good. I just don't hope that, somebody will die. And yes, I'm not sure who some people are, but some characters, oh yeah, they may be a good character, they may be a bad character. It doesn't really matter who they were in the beginning. But who they were in the beginning may turn out to be different than who they were beforehand. Because, like, if you think about it, Anakin Skywalker, he really was Darth Vader. It's just, he wasn't always with the dark side. He was with the Jedi originally, but he left the Order. Now, don't get me wrong, his student did the same thing. But she left for a different reason, probably. I'm not really sure what her reason was, but it happened. So don't really be mad. It happens. People may eventually find out that's not for them. And yes, I am saying it's not for them. But to be honest, if something's not for you, something's not for you. And yes, a ninja, that's not for me. No, I'm not a ninja. If you want to try to be something that you're not, maybe you shouldn't be. So yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, Patch does have some kind of ninja skill, but it's not like full on direct. It's more of an indirect ninja skill. that he probably learned from Master Splinter. Possibly. And yes, I feel like there is someone who you like. But I feel like somebody helped me along the way. I don't want to say who that is, but there is someone who did that. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen in my life later on. So don't be mad. There are some things that I won't get into. And that's it. Okay? And there are some animals that I had in my life. I had a pet turtle at one point. At the cabin. And his name was Franklin. And we had rabbits. We had cats. And my parents did have a dog at one point before my sister was born. But that's basically it. They had one already. So yeah. They won't let me have a dog. Don't ask me why. They just won't let me have one because it's to the point where my mom thinks she's allergic to dogs. I don't really know if she is, but she thinks she is. And I don't really know if that's true, but she thinks it is. So we're not getting one. No. And yes, Duke was a dog too, but I came up with Duke basically the same time I came up with Rex. And I'm not mad that I didn't have them when I was young. But to be honest, I really wasn't someone who was special to me. I messed up on when I found out. I just don't know what I felt was going on. And I don't know what happened in my life before that. So don't be mad. And don't be unhappy for me. Because yes, I am someone. And yes, everyone's a real person, unless they're not a real person. You may like a character from a show or a movie or something else for a while. You may like that character. And don't get me wrong, that's perfectly fine if you like that character. But there's something else that you need to find out. Even if it's not about you, or about your sister, or your brother. And there are some people who don't have brothers. And that was my case. And I felt like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they felt like brothers that I never had. But I didn't really have them. They were someone that I wanted to have in my life, but I didn't have. I don't know why I didn't have them, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen. So I'm not mad that I didn't end up with a brother. Sure, I had cousins, but they were my cousins. They were not my brothers or anything. They were my cousins. Okay? So yeah, that's basically it. Okay? Yeah, so that's basically it. I'm going to end this now.